I have no clue about this anime. Like I said before, I really don't know what it's going to be about. Ichi the Witch, you can see right here up at the top of it. But this is by Hopo. He does like a lot of anime, pretty much. He's an anime channel, and he made this video about this new shonen anime. Again, I have no clue what it's even about. Like, this is me going in blind, but it was on my homepage, and I was like, hey, I'm looking for new anime. Feed that itch and everything. JJK ended, everything else is ending, and I mean, even One Piece is on that has been on breaks here and there a lot. And I'm caught up with everything. I'm literally caught up with every other fucking manhwa and manga that I was reading. So I'm starving. I'm starving here, guys. So let's just get right into this. This is Stop Sleeping on Ichi the Witch. It's about to take over. He also made a follow-up video on this. We might go into that too, probably on another day. But yeah, we shall see that.
It is already peak fiction. Written by the same mangaka that wrote Iruma-kun, Ichi the Witch has already shown the new generation of manga is gonna be bright.
I mean,
this is Osamu Nishi.
I do like that art. Like, that's a cool cover. Second Hunt Urodo Majiki. Yeah, okay. And this person sounds a lot like someone from Anime Balls Deep.
His debut manga on Shonen Jump, so chances are he's about to go harder than ever. And the artist for this manga is also built different, as he's drawn some of the most beautiful women in manga. And this will be very important, as you guys will see later in the video.
That's actually a really
cool
panel. Hold on.
Women in manga, and this will be very important.
Pierce through Alazud. Okay. Is that a sword or a wand? Maybe both. It looks like it could be both, because it looks like that. You can see like the cross guard on it, and then also the hand guard too.
As you guys will see later in the video, My Hero Academia, Jujutsu Kaisen, and Black Clover are all coming to an end, or have already ended.
Well, yeah. I mean, My Hero ended. Let's see, Black Clover is ending, but I'll be honest, I feel like I usually have to reread a chapter or two before I can even read that chapter, because it's so much time in between. I'm like, that's ending. JJK ended. One Piece is in the final quote-unquote saga, but in my opinion, that's not going to be ending until 2030. Just kind of how there are breaks and just unforeseen things that might happen.
So there needs to be some new manga that lead the charge, becoming the, well, new gen. By the way, I'm actually tempted to do a video on the next big three in manga, so
there's no next big three. I'm sorry.
To do a video on the next big three in manga, so let me know if you guys want to see that. I already talked about Kagurabachi, which will 100% be one, but Ichi the Witch is what I'm most excited for, since, again, it's written by the Nishi Osamu.
I like that.
And we all know I like it for.
I love that. That art is sick. And okay, so they do use swords.
Since, again, it's written by the Nishi Osamu, and we all know I love Iruma-kun. The first two chapters have already drawn me in, primarily because of the main character, Ichi. He's introduced in a very similar way to Gon Freaks from Hunter x Hunter, being a very
that's another story that we don't know when or if it's gonna finish, but I hope the author is around for it.
Kid. Ichi is older than Gon, but his goal was very similar, to hunt the Flowerfield Guardian, just like when Gon wanted to hunt the Lord of the Lake. Pro's first panel is so cold. I mean,
that is actually pretty. That is a pretty sick panel. I'm not gonna lie. Holy fuck. Jeez. Granted, obviously the edited eye makes it look cooler, but just the art of like the flowers around the face with the sword dagger peering out.
Not want to fight this guy. He's clearly out of the norm. People in the village love him, but he prefers to live in the mountains completely.
I'll stay on the mountain. There's still things I want to do there. Okay.
And the reason for this is actually really sad. For some reason, when he was just 6 years old, Ichi was abandoned and left in these mountains with just a knife in his hands. And I'm sure we'll learn the deeper reason for this later. Anyway, Ichi spent his time wandering, looking for food, and desperately trying to survive. But eventually his strength collapsed, and he realized that the reason he was left with this knife was so he could take his own life with it. But then when a wolf was left when he tried to survive, but eventually his strength collapsed, and he realized
they hadn't given me a knife to hunt. They'd given me dang. They didn't even give you a chance to survive. Oh, the question is now, is that I'm assuming, obviously I could be wrong, but that's either like a parent or something like that, a guardian of some sort that was trying to protect him from maybe something that was going on at the time. I don't know. Usually when that type of thing happens, there could be a reason behind it. Maybe it's not so much the fact that they wanted them to kill themselves, but hey, who knows? That is a pretty twisted fucking a twisted realization to come to, that whoever dropped you off here gave you that knife not for your survival but for your end.
As that the reason he was left with this knife was so he could take his own life with it. But then, when a wolf confronts him, his desire to live was so insanely strong that he killed it through pure instinct.
There you
he
go.
then learned to fish, how to forage, and eventually how to hunt. Later, he did more connection to the villagers, but we can assume that
the villagers form a tree. They treat a vagrant like me as well. Too, but this.
He really was abandoned here by cowards. They must have known about the dangerous beasts that wandered these mountains and left Ichi there to either die to them or take his own life. They never would have expected him to fight so hard and become a master hunter. But because of this harsh environment, he developed a sense for combat, similar to how Suzuki Iruma developed an insane dodging ability because of the dangerous situations his parents put him into. So eventually, this instinct led him to the most dangerous beast in this forest, so humongous that it was using a tree as a pillow. So Ichi saw this and immediately ran in the other direction, as his instinct told him that he didn't stand a chance, and we'll learn later that he was very correct. Ichi shows that he's kind of a complete freak. He wants to believe the only time you should kill someone is when they intend to harm you, you know, self-defense. But it's clear that he loves hunting and killing, wanting the beast to bear its fangs towards him so he has an excuse. He even sets traps hoping it'll come after him one day. But, as you'd expect from the title of this manga, magic does indeed exist. And this beast that Ichi wants to hunt is no joke, with witches on their way to take care of him. Desaras is the first witch we're ever introduced to, with a nonchalant attitude despite the danger she's about to go into. We meet a few more witches, but the important...
That looks insane. Monet Gold? Or Moon Gold? Moon Gold? I don't know. The Curate Witch? I don't know. Or you're right. I am dyslexic. Oh man.
The point here is that magic exists, and you may be wondering how. Well, beings called Majiks first contacted humanity long ago, with a water spirit setting a trial for a woman who did pass, becoming the first witch ever. Then there's a fire spirit, an ice spirit, and a wind spirit with similar tasks, setting forth the types of magic we can expect to see, which are pretty typical for manga. But by passing these trials, they become one with the being who challenged them. So people began going after these beings. I
like that. So there's a mystical aspect of it. It's not just, hey, there's magic in the world, like people have like innate magic abilities. There are beings outside that put you through a trial, and if you succeed the trial, they become one with you. You merge with the being, and that's how you basically get magic. Not everyone in the world is born with magic.
Attain more power and began to be called witches. But they're more like hunters than anything else. And Ichi specifically is more of a hunter than possibly anyone in the entire world. Listen, I'm trying to say world differently because you guys keep mocking
bro for good.
Me for the way I say world. Anyway, Desadas confronts King Uroro, who we now know is a magic.
I
wants to take his power for herself, meaning that witches can attain multiple powers. So we can assume that the strongest have overcome countless trials. King Uroro has been fighting witches.
So you can take multiple trials. It's not just one. So does that mean you can merge with multiple? Oh shit.
Wanted to take his power for herself, meaning that witches can attain multiple powers. So we can assume that the strongest have overcome countless trials. King Uroro has been fighting witches for ages, leveling mountains, drinking from rivers, and taking countless lives, simply because he hated humanity. He's basically a natural disaster, and the only way to stop him is to, well, kill him, which is close to impossible.
But if you want to acquire me, my trial is to stop my heart. Simplicity itself, don't you think? Okay.
To make things worse, even if you are strong enough, it doesn't matter, since women specifically...
If you kill me, I'll give you my power, but you won't be able to.
Specifically can't pierce his protective barrier. Why is this a big deal?
Because he likes
because it's widely believed that men can't even use magic.
So men can't use magic. Only women can use magic, but women can't hurt him. as a result, no one can beat him. So there has to be a man that has to be able to use magic. Has it been tested? Is this just like an assumption, or is this something that's been tried before?
Meaning that Ororo's trial is the hardest on the planet. In thousands of years, no witch has ever acquired, and I'm sure you see where I'm going. Ichi appears out of nowhere holding a knife, and whilst Ororo and Desarasu laugh at him, the traps he sets spring and catch the king in his tracks. This trap is actually insane. The more you pull, the tighter it gets, and Ichi is ready to kill this being now because it's hurt humans. He strikes straight through the barrier with his knife because
I do love the
he's
art.
A man. So the requirements to pass this trial have been met. So Ichi becomes a witch.
Well, wouldn't it be a warlock?
So the requirements to pass this trial have been met. So Ichi...
Is there a different term for it? But he got a magic girl transformation. He got a heart on his chest. Look at that.
Becomes a witch.
I wonder what his power is going to be.
The only people who have a magical aptitude, so they're supposed to be the only ones who could acquire magic, hence the name witches. But let's say there was a magic with a unique power, with a trial that only a man could pass, and the man just so happened to have a strong body that had been ruthlessly trained for years. And the chances are literally 0.001%. It would take a miracle. Yep, this is a true protagonist, you guys. By the way, he's already completely overpowered as soon as he gets this ability. One, when Desarasu threatens him and he instinctively tries to kill her, you know, normal behavior. One, when Desarasu
kid, don't move.
Threatens him and he instinctively tries...
Dang, he hit him with the back, too.
...to kill her, you know, normal behavior. He cracks the barrier she had up, and when he simply repeats the chant that she did earlier, he does this. Bro almost destroys the entire forest. With all the witches looking on in horror and shock at the power he now has, imagine the levels Ichi is going to reach if this is the first introduction to his power. Like, damn. By the way, from chapter 2, we learn that Desarasu is one of the strongest witches in the world, and Ichi was already blowing her away immediately. By the way, as a side note, I love Desarasu in these chapters too. Her design, for one, is amazing.
Yeah,
she gives
I like
off this
it a lot
cool
too.
air at all times. Even when freaking out, she still has this cold look, and she's genuinely really funny. Like, she doesn't hide her hatred for Ichi for acquiring Ororo, and is constantly giving him shit. Not only that, but she's definitely the strongest.
Maybe we'll read this on stream,
because
like, this seems really good. I'm not gonna lie, I've actually been loving everything about this.
If not for his requirement, she would have acquired his power too. So I'm super excited to see more of her in the future. We also learned that Ororo's power is Ultra Amplification. It's an ability that takes any magical spell or effect and amplifies them to the absolute maximum. There is a downside to this though, which is that it knocks out the user for 3 days when they use maximum amplification. So Ichi will likely have to tone shit down to make sure he's not always collapsing. Similar to how, you know, Iruma has to tone down his ring, because when he uses Panda Ruler, he's completely out of magic, and as we saw against Kiryu, he collapsed. Desarasu also says that because he's possibly the only male witch ever, he should become her companion, because the whole world could be after him now, and he'd be experimented on like a guinea pig. Which makes sense, but Ororo is actually still alive, living inside of Ichi as some sort of demon. Yep.
Well, yeah, because don't they merge with them, so you would assume that the two I mean, he said in the beginning that they become one, so you would think that at least the consciousness would still remain, even if the form like no longer did.
We've never seen that before. Ororo tries to convince Ichi to just run away, but then Ichi cuts his head off. Yeah, bro has no chill. What? Unlike other protagonists,
that startled me. That's my line, you dumb kid.
He has no issue killing you. But because he's attached to Ichi, this doesn't actually kill Ororo. And we learned that he wanted Ichi to run, so he'd turn all witches against him, which would get him killed and he'd be released. Which is interesting, to be fair. I mean, in most other manga, when the user dies, so does the monster inside them. So Ororo is likely going to want Ichi to die to get his freedom, but eventually we'll come to see him as worthy.
Fair enough, or it could just be a continuous thing. Yeah, I don't know. Just a devil on your shoulder. I always like the idea of a little demon that's always giving you some chaos to go into.
It's like Desarasu, who states that she knows Ichi is a true hunter, and
because like it'd be interesting to, because a lot of these characters are like specifically only like really aligned good. Deku, well, Yuji. Asta, fucking thank God. Thank fucking God. Asta, I mean, they're all just really good aligned characters. They don't They don't ever get too dark unless it's for like a specific reason, usually having to do with like friendship and protecting others. It I always like a character personally. Personally, I like a character that isn't just always like righteous and good. Like there is some just chaoticness inside of them. Kind of why I like Luffy to a degree, because yeah, he does good things and all that. But at the end of the day, it's not because he wants to be a good guy. He's just doing stuff because he does something that he wants to do. You know, Luffy follows the dopamine methodology.
He should hunt Majiks, which Urano is strictly against, because he knows Ichi will become an absolute monster. But this next part is what gets me so hyped for the series. There are 3,185 Majiks, with only 402 being acquired by witches. And there's even more out there that haven't been identified yet. They hide in the hearts of volcanoes, the soundless depths of the ocean, the glittering heights of the sky. They could be anywhere. I mean, look at this art. Tell me you aren't hyped to explore.
I was just thinking the same thing. I was like, I love that.
Think about Ichi facing magical beings and getting their powers and spells, which he can then amplify with Urano. Like,
this is peak.
Now, before
it's basically gonna be like Deku on steroids. Okay, it's gonna be Deku on steroids. He's gonna get, honestly, I doubt the actual story would go on for like him to get all 3,000. Maybe he ends up with like 1,000 or something like that, and the rest get like spread out or straight up killed. Like who knows who knows, there might be some other thing that happens, but I don't know. I feel like going through 3,000 different like magical creatures like that, and each one he just gets a new ability. I think by the 3,000th one, or even by like the 2,000th one, he would be so overpowered that no matter how strong the fucking thing he's fighting is, unless it literally destroys universes, it won't hold a candle to this kid. But that's just my opinion. That's my theory. It's a game theory.
the chapter ends, Ichi feels responsible for destroying the forest, so he copies the chant Desadas mentioned earlier, called Revive. And Ichi not only regenerates the forest, but makes it better than ever. This really reminds me of Iruma and the Sakura Blossoms. And now he's fast asleep for another 3 days, and chapter 2 comes to an end. So yeah, these are the first 2 chapters of Ichi the Witch. I'm genuinely really excited, and I hope you guys want to see me.
Yeah. I saw this one too. It's actually right here, up here too. Who knows? Maybe we'll go into this one later, but we'll see. I'm actually very interested in this manga, just generally speaking, so I might just go and read it. It doesn't seem like there's a lot out yet, so that's one of the things that always makes me hesitant, is because I want to read something that has a not it doesn't need like 1,000 chapters like One Piece, but you know, a good 20 chapters is like an afternoon's read pretty much for me. And if it's at like at least 20 chapters, yeah, I'll probably start it. But we shall see. Anyways, that's going to be it for this. This was actually a really big banger for this. Go check out Hopo. We'll probably check out more of their stuff if they release like any theories or videos or stuff like that related to it. And hopefully, if it's really good, we might see a future anime coming out. Very interesting. Has piqued my interest. I will probably give this a read on my own time if there are enough chapters. Yeah, that's about it. We're going to move on now. Hey, what is up? You are an absolute legend if you made it this far in the video. I really appreciate it. And if you could just do me one more quick favor, hit that like and subscribe button down below. It really helps me out. I stream on Twitch Wednesdays to Saturdays starting around 12 p.m. EST. And yeah, there's plenty of crazy unhinged madness that goes on over there too. So I hope to see you there, and I'll catch you in the next video.